There's one story in the book that was stolen completely from history, a bit like the Emu War.
Well, yeah.
And it's in the form of, I don't know how far you've got, Ryan, through it, but it's built in journal entries.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
Okay, so it's called The Wages of Salt. Now, it's based on when the whaling trade was very affluent. Whale blubber was very, very sought after. I heard about it on a podcast I was listening to. Someone was telling me about this ship, the Essex, that got capsized or sunk by a whale during its expedition, which is quite ironic. So I was listening to the podcast, and they were telling me about the history behind it and how horrific the boat's conditions were, etc. So I thought, oh, that sounds terrible. That sounds horrible. And then they talked about the Essex sinking. It was a very popular podcast, which I won't mention the name of, but I think most people have listened to his show. But they were talking about the ship sunk, and they all jumped overboard, got into life rafts, and they survived for months on the ocean.
Wow.
Now, they ended up getting stranded on an island for a while, and then thought, we're going to die here because there's nothing here. There was 5 eggs from that bird's nest, and now we have nothing to eat. So we might as well get back on our rafts and go back to sea to try and survive more, to see if we can find land. So they get back in their rafts and off they go. Obviously, it's months. So people start to starve, and people start to work out who they're eating first.
Yeah.
And this all happened. It's documented. There was some survivors that got off of the life rafts after all of this, and they told their story. But I looked on a website, Britannia website, at the history behind it, and I looked through the manifest. And as I was only doing it, wasn't doing it for writing purposes, but I was just really interested in it. Went through the manifest, and on it there was a couple of names. There was a couple of slots, but one deckhand had no name. It just said deckhand, and I thought, that's my person.
Are you sure that wasn't his name, Deckhand?
Yeah, it might be my deckhand. He was bullied in school. That's why he went on the boat. So I thought that character is going to be my character, and I'll write his experience of this whole situation. And I gave him a bit of a backstory, so people will enjoy the reason he decided to go on the boat, and it's his slow descent into madness throughout the journal entries. So that's the only one that's based on fact. But it's quite fun if you read it to then go look at the history, and you'll see that I've plucked dates and times and things from historical events to plot it together. But all my books come in that sort of form. I'll hear one thing and I'll cling to it, and it'll become a story.